Good morning, Buffalo, and welcome to the Buffalo Social Club here at Hilbert College and produced by our friends at Herd of Buffalo. My good friend Mary, Fiona, and I are here today, and we are so excited to talk to you and tell you what's going on in the 716. How you doing, Mary?
Hey, girl. I'm doing great. Did you have a nice Mother's Day?
I had the best Mother's Day.
You had your steak?
I got my steak. I want to thank everyone because I had people reaching out to me from near and far who were really invested in me getting my Mother's Day steak because they saw how excited I was about it.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I texted you and I was like, did you get your steak?
I got my steak.
You go, you bet. Good job, Carl.
Yeah.
Good job, Carl. And yeah, it was nice. It was a really nice day. It was, low-key, how I like it. But my girls all made stuff. Ella wrote me a poem. My big girls are on a cruise, so I missed them. But my husband did pretty good.
Yeah, I bet he did. But what's up with your girls going on a cruise on Mother's Day? You should be with them.
Well, it was their father's idea. Okay, so it's not shocking, whatever. But yeah, they're having a great time. They went to Turks and Caicos and they made sure to call me and they left gifts beforehand and stuff. So they feel bad, but it's all going to be fine.
Yeah.
Fine. I'm not a big, celebrate me kind of. I just want to,
Yeah, I just wanted to chill. I was happy with my morning Tim Hortons coffee and watching this new show on Netflix, a documentary. I believe it's called My Awful Ex.
Oh, nice.
And it was really good.
Sounds like a nice,
just a nice, heartwarming morning,
I watched... Margot's Got Money Troubles.
Yes.
I told you about that. It is so good.
That's on Apple TV, right?
It is. It's with Michelle Pfeiffer and Elle Fanning, and it's just really funny and really good. It's a little bit deep, but it's good.
Yeah.
I like it. You got to check it out. And I also finished a book, which is hallelujah, because I never get to read anything. But it is the Christina Applegate memoir. And it is heart-wrenching. I mean, she had the toughest childhood. I had no idea. She had abuse and it was terrible, terrible, terrible. But she talks through her Married with Children days and her all the movies she did, give some tea on some celebs. And, she's facing MS right now and she has a daughter and she's just devastated for her daughter. And she's in a lot of pain. But, MS is prevalent here in Western New York, more than anywhere else in the country. So it's horrifying to think about that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, but she's this beautiful, she faced breast cancer. She had a double mastectomy years ago. So if you get a chance, it's not a, fun read, but
it's a good story of, a woman who's persevering during hardships, and we all love that. So I definitely want to read it.
Yeah, you should check it out.
Yeah, I will. And thank you. I want to say I sent you a text. I was, slightly kidding, not really, but I said, we should have mimosas on our next episode of the Buffalo Social Club. And here you are with a picnic basket. And I have a mimosa now in front of me. So cheers. Happy Tuesday. And thank you for bringing this.
Yes, of course.
What else can I tell you I like so you can bring that too?
Steak. I'm not bringing steak. I'm not bringing steak.
No.
I actually sort of forgot. Until late last night. And then I said, honey, do we have any champagne? And he's like, yeah. So we're good. I happen to have some OJ. It's delicious, right?
Oh, you did. Made a great one. Yeah.
We have a great guest today.
Super excited.
Very good friend of mine. Wonderful lady. The most well-rounded person I've ever met. Mary GUGLIUZZA is here. Woo!
Hello.
Hello.
Look how happy she is to be here. Okay, get your mimosa.
Okay.
This is really part of the reason. Toast. Why I brought them. Mary was a little nervous, although I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
It's just a conversation.
Totally.
With ladies. I wore black today. Never wear black, but I wanted to be in the badass kind of feel and vibe because you are a badass.
I was.
You still are.
No,
you
I'm
still
not
are.
anymore.
So
No.
Mary is a retired Buffalo homicide detective. She's seen it all. She's done it all. She's solved a lot of crimes. Sick, perverse, disgusting crime. And we want all the tea.
We want all the tea.
We want
watch
all
a
of
lot
it.
of shows and we want to know.
Yeah.
We want to know everything.
So what made you get into law enforcement, for starters?
Well, my girlfriend's father was a Buffalo cop.
Okay.
And by that time I was at UB. I was taking classes at UB. And I'm like, I don't know what I want to do. I was 18. And then he told his daughter, my girlfriend Denise, says, why don't you girls take the Buffalo police exam? I'm like, I don't want to be a cop. You kidding me? That's silly. And so 3 of my girlfriends all took the exam. And I ended up doing better than those 2. And so I got called, and I was bartending at the time because I was putting myself through college. And the detectives were coming over to me saying, hey, you're going to be in the next class. I'm like, really? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like 5'2", 100 pounds, Well, I was.
You're like, I was just kidding.
Yeah, right. And so I'm like, my father actually kind of talked me into it.
Wow.
And so he goes, just try it, Mare, and see how it goes. In 1980, I was the second class of females to graduate from the police academy with Buffalo, with Buffalo PD.
Amazing. So talk about your days drifting into the homicide squad.
Well, I did work patrol a bit. I worked community services. By that time, they had they had like not real female. Well, they had like matrons, they were called, to work sex crimes with all the children molestations and all sex crimes in Buffalo. And so I was there. So I got put into, well, I asked for it anyways, to be a detective I should say an investigator in sex offense unit. So I spent 15 years in sex crimes.
I mean, that's heartbreaking, though, to see some of what you saw.
Well, especially when my son was real little at that time. And a couple times I would be talking to these kids, talking to the suspects, and I'd have to, literally, I did this once. I walked out of the room and just screamed because the kid that was being molested was the age of my son. It almost looked like my son, little towhead, blue-eyed kid, and sometimes you just got to release it. And the best part is click, click. And I liked it too, is like when you have like almost like a serial sex offender that they've done it almost their whole life and they got away with it their whole life. And then finally you get some little cases that get moved together and you finally get the guy, and he might be like in his 50s, but he did it when he was like in his teens. I mean, this is sex crimes.
Right.
So, and then it was like cool to like lock up them people too.
Yeah. How do you not take this home with you, though? Because you said you had a little kid, you had a family. It's got to be hard once you get home to like shut it off and then just be, mom and regular Mary, right?
Totally. My other partner, Patty, she had 2 young children.
Oh my God,
also.
I love Patty.
Yeah.
Patty's a badass too. I should have had you both on. We like
yeah,
Patty.
right. We wouldn't have stopped talking and telling stories.
Oh, I know.
And I don't know. It's just like, I think it's with us, it's like after work, we used to go out a lot after work.
Yeah.
And a little bit of this never helped or never
Never
did
hurt.
help. Never hurt. Yes, never hurt. And I think it's just talking to each other or talking like after you get home, you're not even home, after you get back in the office and you're doing like hours of paperwork. And like, you believe this stuff? No. And one time I was out with my neighbor and my neighbor says to me, like, how do you get over this? I mean, are you guys in therapy?
Yeah.
And I said, I don't know any cops who've been in therapy, which half of them should be.
Right.
But I never was in therapy. And I think with me is like, I talked about it. Sometimes you have to laugh about it.
Right.
And I think that was my therapy, like talking to my coworkers and talking about later and having a couple drinks with them and redoing it in your head about, well, we should have did this. We should have asked him that. We should have did this, but maybe we didn't.
Right. But like you said, I mean, the real therapy is locking these degenerates up.
Oh God, yes. Yeah.
Is there a common theme, did you find, with these people? Like, are they just sick in the head? Were they abused when they were younger? Like, what's up with that?
Yes and yes, but I always think if you're abused when you're younger, I know this is contrary to therapists and clinical psychologists, and they always think that it's a repetitive action. But me, sometimes I think, well, if you were so hurt when this happened to you, why are you doing it to somebody else?
Right.
1000% agree.
The way I look at it, pedophilia it's for one thing, it's a sickness. It's a huge crime. But I look at it sometimes where you get a guy and they go for brunettes. They go for tall, skinny women. They go for short, fat women. And I think some of these men are just attracted to I mean, you can have the babies, you can have the toddlers, you can have prepubescent, just like little juveniles, and it seems like they're attracted to a certain type of children. That's how I think.
I don't think it ever leaves them.
I don't think it does either.
We when I worked at Channel 2, my photographer Mike, whom you know, we did a ride along with the probation department on Halloween. Because if you're a pedophile and you're on the list, you're not allowed. You have to stay home. You're not allowed to go out on Halloween.
Yep.
And so we were interviewing this pedophile who had raped a child. He was, first of all, you should never get out of jail. Like, what the hell? But he was out of jail, out of prison, and on probation. And I said to him, like, are you rehabilitated? And he's like, no. He's like, I have urges. I'll never be I'm like, what the hell? Why are you out?
Right.
But they can't keep them in.
No,
but that's the whole point. They don't change.
Right. I don't think they change. And even when they're in jail, I mean, I'm sure they're not changing. Well, they are, but there's still thoughts in their head.
Yeah.
And like, how do you change a man who's attracted to a blonde female with blue eyes who's, she's got to be at least, 150 pounds or, how do you change that with somebody?
Right.
And I think a lot of it is opportunity, but is a man who walks down the street and sees like an older woman, maybe that's what he's attracted to. And then what if he sees a kid? If he's attracted to an older woman, he's not going to grab a kid.
Right.
That's how I think. And so I think people are attracted to a certain type of individual, and lo and behold, they do mean things to them. And in order to get control of them, that's mostly the biggest thing.
So you also solved crimes like in the craziest way. Like, tell Kimberly about the spit. This is like unbelievable. It's like a TV show.
Oh, it was a TV show. I was on TV over that one. But it was that's when I was one of the 3 detectives who in Buffalo Police Homicide who started the cold case unit in Buffalo Police. And that was one of our first ones that we went into. The easiest ones to solve in cold case, obviously, are rape homicides. Because a lot of times when they rape women, they always leave DNA. Back in, let's see, when did I start cold case? Oh, in the 90s. Anyways, that's when DNA just really started and they were just getting really good at it. And the rapists mostly always leave DNA behind, whether it be a hair, whether it be semen, whether it be just something on somebody's clothing. And this was like a 32-year-old homicide that happened in Black Rock. A woman was with her little baby in her apartment, was found with a knife in her chest, dead. Her clothes were disheveled. And there was like one little piece of what we assumed was pubic hair that was found in the evidence. So then we have to dig for the evidence. We have to bring it back to the evidence unit, and they have to bring it to the lab, and they have to really, I mean, it's all the lab technicians who do this, who are awesome. And they got a little bit of a DNA off this pubic hair, and we ended up like, okay, let's like redo who did they interview back in the day? Because it all happened, 30 years prior to me even looking at the case.
Right, like did they have a suspect, but they couldn't prove it?
Yeah, kind of. They thought it was the husband.
Okay.
And then it was real bad. The whole situation with the husband and the kids just went to crap, and so finally we get kind of a hit on some guy, but then we can't just go and get him. We need a positive DNA hit. So that's when we have to go out and like hunt him down a little bit, where my partner and I was sitting in one car, he was sitting in other, and we would follow him, but he was a big smoker, a big spitter. So everywhere we went, he went to Tops, he went to Rite Aid, and he'd flick a cigarette, and I'd whip out, but there was like 50 cigarette butts on the ground. I'm like, I don't know which one is his.
Right.
You can't do that. And so one day it was just after a snow, and I was sitting on one end, he was sitting the other, and we had our binoculars out, and doesn't he wipe his car off with snow, and doesn't he spit? And I'm like, oh my God, he spit. I said, Charlie, he spit. Oh and we had to wait for him to move out of his car, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I hope he doesn't run over it. But I had my eyes on it the whole time.
Oh my God.
And so then I got my gloves. After he left, I got my gloves on, got my little DNA kit, and I went and swabbed the spit or spittle off the ground and put it in a container and, totally secure evidence, and brought it to my lab. And
Isn't
then
that crazy?
they call and you got them.
Wow.
So you have to
And
do
was
that.
it the husband?
No.
Oh.
It was some old boyfriend or some guy that was stalking her a little bit. It was, and he was interviewed the whole time that, after they did this investigation, and it was so sad because everybody thought it was the husband, but it ended up being some other. It's actually got the dead woman's brother-in-law. So
Wow.
it was
my God.
somewhat related.
But that wasn't even your favorite case to solve.
No, it wasn't my favorite. I had lots of favorites.
The one with the.
Oh, yeah. Well, I had one good case. I mean, when I say good cases,
They're horrible.
yeah, they're.
Well, the good part
The
is that
more
you solved
horrible
it.
they are, the better they are for me. I mean, I can get like one bullet wound, and I'm like, okay,
Boring.
and then. But this started out as some fishermen were fishing at Erie Canal, and they find something in the Erie Canal. It was a suitcase. I said, "Oh, let's go in and see what's in it." And they opened it up, and it looked like, and it smelled really bad. And they're like, I think this is like some kind of flesh. So we got the Coast Guard go in, and they're saying, "Oh, it looks like a bunch of dead puppies. Yeah, whatever. We don't know what it is."
Oh my God.
So we bring it. I get my evidence unit. They bring the evidence to the morgue. And so what the morgue does, I open it up and they X-ray it. And what it ended up being a woman's hip bone and her rib cage, like folded up. But it was all decayed, and it was old. Not too old, but it was old. And so I get the call from my evidence guy or the lab or the morgue, and they say, "Guess what? It's human." Oh, you got to be kidding me. So, I mean, there's really nothing to do then except interview the people who found it. The next day, there was these bags floating at the rowing club at the canal, West Side Rowing Club. And they opened up the bags, and lo and behold, there was like an arm. There was 2 feet, cut. Like everything was just cut up. No hands, no face. And so from there, and we knew it was a female because they had dark hair, and it was thrown into the water with a bag of rice. Okay, what happens when a bag of rice gets wet? It floats to the top, right?
Dummy.
So we tracked the rice that was sold at Tops Market on Niagara Street because of the sticker. We found out that's where it was sold. And then my partner and I went to Tops, their distribution center, and said, "Can you track who bought a bag of rice like this?" And they tracked whoever it was, and we found out there was a Hispanic woman and her son missing from the West Side who actually bought the rice. And that's how we kind of figured out who the missing woman was.
Oh. Who killed her?
Well,
Come on, you're leaving us hanging.
So I have to go right back to it. So anyways, I mean, this is a movie. And I mean, it should be a movie. Nobody really contacted me about that.
Let's do it. Donnie, let's do it.
And ends up being, it was a guy in the neighborhood who was a pedophile. So it brings me back to my sex crime unit, who was a pedophile who actually was interested in this woman's 3 young boys, who little by little groomed them to believe that their mother did not love them, and who wasn't their mother, who ended up literally taking a couple of them. And then when we found out who it was, my partner and I, Denise, we went to the guy's house, knocked on the door, and in the backyard, there's this big black plastic bag. Open a fridge, there's a hacksaw in it. I'm like, oh, crap. Which, in the meantime, didn't have anything to do with the crime. But it was what kept me there. I said, I am not leaving until someone answers the door. So this guy answers the door, and I said, you're so-and-so. And he goes, yeah. I said, do you know Madeline? No, I think I know who she is. And so I said, I want to see your apartment. He goes, well, you can't really. I said, well, let me just come up and look around. Okay. And there was the little boy that was taken with the mother. By that time, it was like, okay, we're going downtown. And it ends up being the older boy, the older son who killed the mom.
Oh my God.
Because the pedophile, he's the one who told him how to do it.
Oh my God.
So I got him, I got, the evidence galore, and then eventually found out from the one son who killed the woman that her hands and her head were packed in a container full of cement in the bathroom where this little boy was living. So we brought the whole container full of concrete to the morgue, and they had to get the fire department to jackhammer it. It ended up being like it looked like a football in like Reynolds wrap. And then the hands and the face were like this.
Oh my goodness.
And that's of the woman who was killed.
That is sick.
It's super sick.
That is sick.
Super.
But how do you, you're so, I mean, I'm just meeting you now, but you're very sweet and bubbly. I wouldn't picture you being a detective. I mean, were you ever I scared? Like you're hanging out with a murderer, not hanging out literally, but you're trying to get a murderer, so he's in your presence. I would be so scared. I'd want to run back to my car.
When we get to a homicide scene, everything's already taped off. It's like the patrol is there first, always first. And then they have the evidence. They have everybody in there. They have witnesses coming downtown already. So by the time we get there, there's always one detective goes to the scene, starts writing up the scene. Another detective goes to headquarters to see if there's any witnesses to take statements. Another one goes to the hospital if, in fact, there's some people who are still living. So then we all get together. But when we're there in a homicide scene, it's really not frightening because we're surrounded by cops, for one thing. The hardest thing is then going out and finding them. And then when I went out to pick up this guy, I never knew it was him.
Right.
And I had the young boy in the back of my car, unhandcuffed, because I didn't know he was involved.
Right.
And I said, Denise, he's the one who did it. He's the one who cut his mother up. And he was in my back seat of my car.
Right.
So he's the one who pointed out the older man.
But you also did what do you call it? Hostage negotiation. I remember the one on the 190 or yeah, right?
Yeah, I was the commander of when I was made commander, I changed the name of my unit. It used to be hostage negotiation unit, but most of the time we didn't deal with hostages. We dealt with people in crisis, like someone with a gun to their head or gun to somebody else's head or just going to jump off something, and
oh yeah, that doesn't really make sense.
Yeah,
You're not dealing with the hostage.
Right.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I changed the name of the unit to crisis management team, because this way we can bring in other people to help us deal with this person in crisis.
Right.
And just like the man on the 190, that happened a few years ago. They shut the whole 190 down, ended up being it was a domestic. And then he had a gun. We got the woman away from him, but we had to close the 190, SWAT units all over the place. We had the Coast Guard coming in. He still had a gun in his hand. And eventually we talked to him and got him out, and SWAT made a cool entrance and they got him.
Super cool entrance.
Yeah,
I remember that
super
video.
cool
They're
entrance,
coming down the 190 in their truck.
In the
And they're all
ambulance.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And
they
then
backed
opened
up
the
with an
ambulance. And they all
ambulance,
got out. Oh, that was so cool.
Mhm. It was cool.
Oh my gosh. Is there a case that you haven't solved that you think about every day, or not really?
Yeah, there's a couple of them. I had a child who was a young girl who was killed, and we couldn't figure out who did it. The husband or the boyfriend was a possible suspect who lawyered up. The mom was not home when the little girl died, but they had a little boy, a younger boy, a heavier set little boy. And it was kind of like, did the boy jump on her? Did dad do it?
Mm.
And I don't think it was ever solved.
Like that pageant one. What was her name?
Oh, Jean-Benet Ramsey.
Yeah,
Oh,
that they
right.
haven't solved it, and then they just did that Netflix documentary, and then you're like, I couldn't even believe the family was doing the Netflix documentary,
I
but we
know.
still don't know who
Right.
did it.
Who did it?
I know, but they blame the parents for so long, and it's like that's the first thing you do is the
course.
husband
Yeah.
or the parents,
of course.
right? Right,
Yes,
the
yes.
boyfriend.
But it could be anything, right? Like something you said is jumped on the kid. Like, is it
Could have
something that happened accidentally and now everybody's covering it up
Right.
and making it into a murder that it wasn't?
right, because then that
Right.
boy has like the murder
Right.
over
And
his
he was
head.
really young.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and you're not going to lock up a 5-year-old.
Right. And but you look at some of these crimes, like the bike path rapist.
Mhm.
I mean, he did that for decades.
Mhm.
Decades.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden they get him because they found the DNA in a drawer that was in there for years and years and never been tested. It was waiting on
Yeah.
the list.
Oh, right.
And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden it gets
Yeah.
tested and like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, we know who this is.
Yeah.
Now we just have to prove it.
Yep.
Which
Yep.
is,
I mean, I've taken DNA. I've gone to flew to Seattle with an older woman who was murdered. I mean, she had to be 80. She was from up North Buffalo area, and another rape murder. And we got the DNA back, and he was in jail in Seattle. And so my partner and I flew to Seattle. We were talking to him, and I just happened to have a cup, a styrofoam cup, and I'm drinking water. You want some? Yeah, sure. Boom, boom, boom. When he leaves, bring it home. But we knew it was him anyways, especially with the DNA CODIS now. It's like they
Right.
have positive hits all the time.
right. And now they have like, if anybody in your family did
Mhm.
any of those genealogy
Mhm.
things, they can
Yep.
catch you. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, we're going to talk more because
Let's get a little lighter here.
let's get a little
Yeah,
lighter,
right.
but we are going to come back to
Okay.
what you're doing now.
Okay.
Because that is like talk about 360. That's
Yeah.
nuts. But anyway, okay. So we're moving on.
Yes, we are. So we're going to move on to our little bit louder segment, sponsored by our friends at Celino Plumbing, Cooling, Heating, and Electric, where we talk about charitable things happening in the West New York community. And we have our biggest charitable event of the year, Totally Buffalo Cares and Sweet Buffalo Rocks, coming up this Sunday with the children who are sadly battling cancer, life-threatening illnesses, and those with disabilities. And it's our best and most fun event. Are you excited?
I am so excited. It is my favorite day of the entire year. It's called Be Our Guest, and it's like a Disney princess themed ball for all these children. This is our 4th year.
I can't believe it.
That is so nuts. I think we have like 200 and
A
some
lot of
kids and their siblings and their parents, and everything is paid for. They come in, they get makeup, we've already ordered their gowns, their suits, and they get their hair done. And there's all kinds of activities for them. Gosh, it's just so nice to see them just be kids and forget about
just
everything
be
for
kids.
a day.
That's what's most important.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And we remember the children that were lost in this past year, which is just always so hard.
But seeing all the kids' faces and their parents and their siblings having a good time, it just makes the work we do so important and memorable.
Yeah,
Not only to obviously to us, but to the people attending.
yeah.
It really means a lot to them, and they look forward to it every year.
They really do. And
Shout out to Paula, your sister.
Oh.
She's been working really, really hard. I want to give her a shout out.
She always gets it done, doesn't she?
She sure does.
She's crazy. She gets so much done. But we couldn't do it without the incredible community. Our
Absolutely.
friends at 716 Garage Door sponsor this event. They Barry lost his brother to cancer, so it means so much to him. So we are so grateful.
Yeah, they had a lot of fun last year. They were up there dancing with the kids. Remember? They were on. Yeah, they had a great time.
Yeah, the whole crew came. Now, last year they had 1 table. This year they have 2 because they're bringing kids.
Yeah.
Because they saw what it was like. And it's just so beautiful. You should join us sometime. It's
I'd love to.
amazing. It's an amazing, amazing day. Emma makes bracelets for the
Aw,
kids.
aw.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's
Well, because I was involved in for how many years since I volunteered at Ronald McDonald House for
Love them.
years. And and it was like you saw that all the time.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
and it's so touching, it's so heartwarming. Just even that place is so great.
It's
It really
amazing.
is.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
beautiful
Yeah.
It
place.
is amazing. It
Mhm.
is amazing. What else are we going to talk about?
We're gonna go back and talk to Mary here because I got more questions. Don't you?
Well, I want to talk about your jewelry
Okay.
because a few years ago you started learning how to make silver and do this incredible jewelry, which you can find at Totally Buffalo store locations. But you've transformed to now you're more colorful, and it's just amazing the stuff you make.
Yeah. I started out, I live on the beach. So I walk the beach every day with the dog. and I started picking up beach glass, and I've had so many, and I'm like, you know what? I should do something with this stuff. And so I was just like looking on the internet, and I'm like, so I end up starting like making a lot of beach glass pendants with like a lot of charms. I drill them and clean them and put chains on them and package them real nice. And then I got kind of bored because I get kind of antsy, you know, because I need to learn new things. And I ended up taking class at the Roycroft in East Aurora, and it was called silver metal clay. And so it starts out with a piece of clay that actually looks like silly putty. And then what I do is I make molds out of leaves in my garden or cool textures I can find. And I put the clay in the mold and shape it. And after torch firing it, it's fine. It's left with 99.9% fine silver. And that's I have a blast doing that because I can make anything into silver.
Yeah. And she has an extra bedroom at her house, and it is like filled with every kind of
Not an extra bedroom. It was my daughter's old bedroom.
Yeah,
They're out now.
She's out now,
Yeah.
and it's just like all beads and chains and
Crazy.
everything you could think of.
Crazy.
But I just had an epiphany.
Oh.
Okay, so you once gifted me this beautiful, beautiful frame, and I had told you about my stepfather, Rick, who passed away, and our favorite song was "I Think to Myself."
Mary made it.
What a wonderful
Mary
world.
made it.
That's in my
Yes.
house. She
Yes.
gifted me that,
Yep.
and it was beautiful. It says, "I think to myself, what a wonderful world," and it has your beach glass.
Yes.
in there.
That's my beach glass. It's
Mhm.
from
That's right.
Grandview Bay Beach Glass.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
I've
funny.
gifted them to
Yeah.
so
Oh,
many people,
yeah.
and we have
Yeah.
quite a few in our.
Yeah, those are
Yeah.
fun to make.
They're fun.
Yeah.
It's like a frame, and then the words are written in the beach glass and other things.
Well, I do instead of doing like cool words like sisters or family or my wedding, or I have people pick a song and I usually help them pick a lyric to the song. So it's mostly all song, the lyrics of the songs.
Yeah.
Some short ones. I just made one for a friend of mine whose husband just passed away. I brought one down to Carolina and gave it to her.
Aw.
And his favorite song was Cake by the Ocean.
Oh my God.
So I made that for her.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How is she doing?
Oh,
It's so
she's-
sad.
She's working through it.
I love her so
Yeah,
much.
right.
Are you wearing your jewelry right now?
Well, this is,
Beautiful.
this in my ears.
I love it.
Yeah, thank you. But some of them are big, some of them are small. But
So that's a pretty big difference from a homicide
Yeah.
detective.
yeah,
Yeah.
Feels good though, don't it?
it does. It's just like keeps me busy and keeps me out of my husband's hair. And I need to keep busy all the time.
Yeah.
So this way I just go into my room, or sometimes I bring my table in front of the TV, watch a movie while I'm doing stuff. And I don't know, I go to the stores and I do
Yeah.
a lot of vendor shows, which my girlfriend Barb is always my go-to girl. And
And your mother-in-law.
my mother-in-law, she's 93.
She's so
helps
cute.
me all the time. And we have a blast at them because we talk to so many people and we laugh all day long. We laugh.
Yeah.
And it's just, I love the public, I love people. And you'd be surprised because after what I did, I really love people still.
Yeah.
Yeah. How? How do I love
Yeah,
people?
right.
And you are a grandmother,
I
and
am.
Nina is like the
Nina just turned 2.
light of your life.
Oh my God. She's my heart.
She is so beautiful.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Tomorrow's my babysitting day. So
Oh my
doing that.
Yeah. What changed in you since you've been a grandma? Because I remember when you first found out, you were like, okay, I'm going to be a grandmother. What do you think? I'm like, you're going to love it. You're going to
Oh,
love it, Mary. You're like,
I-
I don't know. It's like you are going to love it.
I love it. I love it. I'm so proud of my son and
He's a great
and
dad.
Mom Riley. I'm so proud of them because they work hard. She's a nurse. She works nights. He's working days. And it's like I think like we all did.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't know too many people in my life who mom stayed home. Everybody worked and they're working. They just bought a house and we're helping with that. And just helping them helps me be a better gram.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just whatever you need, I'm there. Whatever you need. I can't remember the last time I said, no, I can't do it.
Right.
Because everything else gets put on the back burner. I'm like, oh, guess what? Nina needs me today. Or Nina wants me today.
Yeah.
Now my name is, instead of Nana, it's Nani.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, so she changed it. So she's
Whatever
starting to
she
talk.
wants to do.
Absolutely.
Oh
And
my
she's my
gosh.
girl. I love her.
Oh, you want to let me ask more questions?
Yeah,
together? So I watched, you did too, you said, but I've watched a lot of Lifetime movies since I was a little girl.
Mhm.
And I feel like I knew the signs to look out for like domestic violence since the age of 8,
Yeah.
because those movies were really
Yeah.
back in the day, remember?
Yeah.
So, and now I watch all that's on Netflix, and I'm just wondering, like, are there signs to see from these sick individuals? Like, you know, in the thing, the women are like detectives, and they're looking for things, and they're finding things, and they're like not leaving. Like, are there like signs in the very beginning, like there's something wrong with this person?
Like
you
a
need to
red
get
flag?
out. Yeah, a red flag. Yeah.
I think a lot of red flags come from like obsessiveness.
Mhm.
Like you have, you know, say a husband or a boyfriend who doesn't let the woman, his girl, like have friends.
Oh.
Or no, you don't need to see your family. You know, they try to get them just to have the woman to their self.
Isolation. Yeah.
Isolation
This
is
is
like
very interesting.
all day
I
long.
need to-
I mean, that's kind of the biggest thing, because once the more friends they have and more they're involved with their family, the more the victim is going to talk, or they're going to see the bruises. They're going to see the depression. They're going to see, okay, you know, something ain't going right in your life.
Mhm.
And I think the biggest thing that I would look at is like you said, like isolation. And that's huge.
And a control freak.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Controlling their life.
Which is like the opposite of your husband.
Oh, who controls who? Yeah, all right.
Mary's husband, Vinny's the best, though. We love Vinny. We love
do.
Vinny.
Yeah.
What about these shows like CSI and all those? Are they realistic? Are they not?
What do you think? No, they're not.
No, not at
No.
all. They don't
I
solve
used
it
to
in
do.
an hour.
I used to do. I
Well, they
used to
only have
do.
an hour to solve the
You
crime,
can
and they
solve
do it,
in an
Mary.
hour.
I used to do PowerPoint presentations to like different high school classes or college classes, and I used to put a big picture of CSI on my PowerPoint, and I'm like, don't think the real homicide is like this. I mean, it used to take us like months with. I mean, I retired 13 years ago. I'm not sure what the lab is like now, or Central Police Services, or how long it takes to get your DNA hit back. But back then it was months. I mean, if it was a week, that means we had a big one, and that they worked around the clock to get a hit. But usually, like, I'm calling them like, you got anything yet? You got anything yet?
You got to light a fire.
You got to light a fire under their butt, and like, and it could take months. It was take, and where it's CSI, it takes what? 10 seconds. Oh, we got a
12
hit.
minutes.
Okay.
Well, what do you think happened to Nancy Guthrie?
Oh,
I mean, they're still waiting for DNA. How could you be still waiting for DNA? It's been months.
No idea.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's super crazy. And especially they had
Video.
They had everything. They had video, they had FBI there, they had every kind of, I'm sure they even brought in like psychs.
Oh, really?
I would assume they did. I mean, someone who could like foresee things, I mean, I don't know. Then I'm thinking like, well, gee, was it somebody on the television station who wanted her spot? Who didn't think she'd come back to work? That's the last thing I thought of.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, it was my
Maybe they're gonna
crazy
start
brain,
looking there,
but
yeah.
why would you do that? I mean, I don't think they stole anything.
They didn't. Nothing was missing, apparently.
Got me.
No idea.
Mm-mm. I don't have an inkling on that. No.
But why would they still be waiting for DNA results 3 months later? Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Like when we had, it was Altemio Sanchez. There was the last girl that was killed in
On the bike path.
On the bike path, Joan Diver.
Yeah.
And I remember I was in the gym down at police headquarters and before my shift, and they did that DNA fast. But only because they say they were there, like, I don't know how long it took, at least over 24 hours, but they were there every minute. Like that's all they worked on for a whole day. And then you get the phone call. What?
Well, he went out to dinner.
Yeah.
He went out to dinner. What's that place on Main Street?
Oh, I was in that square, that
Giancarlo's. He's having dinner there, and the cops are at the next table or at a table. They finish their dinner. They get up. They collect the silverware, the glasses, everything with the DNA, and that's how they ended up busting him.
Wow.
Isn't that nuts?
That is nuts.
And he was like, had a job, and his wife apparently had no idea.
It's like that dude who killed all those women in Long Island. I mean, look at him. He had a great job somewhere, and
He's a professor or something, wasn't he? Like,
I don't know, but you know, he went through his whole life and killed like a boatload.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's nuts.
It's been so nice talking to you.
You also.
We could talk to you forever. I have a lot more questions, but I'll have to ask them after this.
I know, or you'll come back, right? It was easy, right?
Oh, of course it's easy.
Yeah. Do you think this helped a little bit?
I need a little
Maybe
more.
a tiny bit. All right, I got it right here for you, girl. Well, we are going to talk about our final thoughts, and this week it is sponsored by William Mattar Law Offices, our very good friends. Do you have anything that you want to talk about, or do you have a final thought you'd like to send out to people?
You know what I like is live your life to the fullest, because lately I'm getting into that age where I've had two very close friends pass away, and through different reasons. I'm like, you got to do what you want when you want to do it, and just do it. I hate to steal the Nike logo talk, but just do it. You want to go away? Do it. You want to go to your girlfriends with your girlfriends? Do it. You want to go on a trip like you guys have been doing? So just do it.
You're never going to regret doing those trips.
No, just do it.
Life is short.
Yeah,
Life is short. Just do it.
I love that one. Mine is not as wonderful as that. I was actually at the bank, and I was talking to the bank teller. Like, this rash of elderly people being scammed is getting worse. So my message is, if you have an elderly person that is close to you in life, talk to them about these scams, because they're getting so good with the AI. And she was telling me somebody came in and they had their phone on, and she could hear the person on the phone saying, don't say anything about me to the banker. Like, just get the money. We're going to send it. I'm going to, and it was a big scam. And she said so many of these seniors lose their life savings. So talk to the people in your life, and it could happen to somebody that knows better too. Do you know what I mean? So just be careful.
Well, they pull at their heartstrings, so they might call and say, hey, we have your grandson here, and we're not giving him back until you send this money. And then they can do change their voice and make it sound like the grandson. Like, please help me, Grandma.
Yes. And somebody said you should have like a code word, so that if it's really your kid or your grandchild, they would say that word. I think I'm going to do that with my kids. Yeah. You can't trust
my 93-year-old mother-in-law, we don't get her a smartphone. I said, well, if you get a phone call and you don't recognize the number, just don't answer it.
Right.
And sometimes they leave messages like the bank or whoever. And I said, just don't answer it. Because, they'll, and my mother-in-law, I mean, she'll just get sucked right into it. I know it.
Yeah.
And
she
just don't answer
would.
it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because she's so kind and just trusting.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So be careful.
My final thought is things I would get arrested for. I never really thought about it before, but we have a great guest to talk about this.
Vigilante justice?
Yeah, I
nice.
would. Recently there were 2,000 beagles in Ridgeland Farms in Michigan that were taken from a testing facility, and these people stormed in and they took these beagles so they wouldn't be tested on anymore. And they have been happily sharing their mugshots on social media. One of them was actually a Baywatch star, former Baywatch star, and she went in and took the beagles. And long story short, I got to meet one of those beagles yesterday. Her name is Starbutt, and Starbutt has never had a bed. She's never had a family. They lived in crates their whole life. There was the TV was on, and she was like just mesmerized by the TV. Never saw a TV. And so I would definitely proudly share my mugshot to go save those beagles, and I wouldn't care.
Yeah, and they did took out their voice boxes.
Yeah, some of them they took out their vocal cords. They test anesthesia on them to see how much they could take without anesthesia or something like that. They're doing all kinds of weird stuff over there. But these vigilantes went in there and they did not care, and they took those beagles. And I would proudly do that if that happened here.
And you actually have a connection to that.
Well, my friend's niece. It was actually. At one point she was there and she was videotaping the people all dressed in the white. And that's when they got sprayed by the bear spray. The security from the facility was spraying all the protesters. And she was there and she posted it on Facebook, and I'm like, oh my God. I just texted her back saying, oh my God, you guys were just on Good Morning America or the news or something. And so she was there. But she's a real huge dog lover.
Yeah.
Super huge
Well,
dog
Well,
lover.
those people are going to burn in hell.
Well, what's saddest about the beagles is they are so loving. That's why they use them. They're so loving. They're also so forgiving. So that's why they pick beagles.
And they howl. So that's why they took the...
Hmm.
They howl.
And I guess something like that, I don't quote me on it. I got to get more information, but something like that's happening in Rochester too. So
What?
Yep. Locally. So got to find out about that. So anyways, if you see my mugshot ever, it'll be to save the beagles. So I hope you guys support me and still love me.
Oh, I would still love you. I would be there with you.
Okay,
Mary,
good.
you going to be with us?
Oh, absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
You're not afraid of the cops.
You know how to get us away from them,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cover it
There
up.
we go.
Oh my gosh. Did you have fun?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. You're going to go golfing today?
Yes, I'm going
Okay.
golfing.
Okay. What are you going to do today?
Work.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we hope that you guys enjoyed your time with us. We had so much fun. We loved Mary. We love all that kind of talk. It's a little deeper than usual, but we hope you had a great time. And I guess that's the end of our show. I don't want it to end today.
I know. Well, we'll see you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next Tuesday, friends. Have a great day.